did the seniors, because the seniors would be our seniors.
Yes.
I don't hear from them if there were issues, and I'm sure there will be, speaking for that particular group that I'm a part of. So, but, you know, in terms of what kind of, you know, there's the.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
What today's.
Yes. And
We might be prepared for on our end if we say it's a green light.
Yeah.
Be able to support them in the process.
Sure. And that's a great question. And we tell them front and center what I just told you. It's never fun to have your house under construction, but the end result is so worth it. And we show them other properties we've done to get them excited about it. But we work very closely with the management agent that's managing the property now. And they give them a notice and a schedule of when they are planning on them moving out. And then we also ask everyone to clean out, to do spring cleaning, because this is the perfect time. I mean, I don't move much. I haven't moved in 20 something years, but I have a friend who does. And I mean, her cabinets are lean and mean. She has nothing extra. And I'm like, maybe I should just move to clean out all the closets in my house. But we just, you know, lovingly tell them, if you have anything extra that you're not using. And so it kind of becomes fun. And it's interesting because a lot of times I'll be there at the initial meeting that we have with the residents, even though it's the management agent's responsibility. And then, and we'll suggest, you know, spring cleaning is a great time. And if you have something you're not using and you think someone else, if it works and you think someone else might use it, we'll have a free giveaway for these 30 days. So we'll use our community center. If you're getting rid of things that work, you just don't use anymore. And then it becomes really fun because everyone is, so that's cleaning out. And then if someone has physical disabilities and it is hard for them to pack up, then we work with local churches, and we've had a couple of Boy Scout troops also that would volunteer on a Saturday, and they would come in and help box up. They would help, you know, and we give them bins. They have plastic bins to put all of their things in. And we don't want anyone that is not the resident themselves messing with their belongings. So, but we tell them if there's anything like in your jewelry, your medications, you know, even, you know, special family heirlooms, you know, we will help you move that to, in reason, to the hotel so that you have them with you and you don't have to worry about that.
So there are now lots of professionals that help with packing and what do you call it, purging and all of that. So I don't know, it seems like in the process at this point, I'm just imagining a senior person that's been in the facility, if they're 72, they've been there maybe 10 years. So just and conversationally, so not even that, just know what. And I don't know, we can find somebody that would volunteer.
Volunteers are the best. And I will tell you, there's a lot of, we've had ladies groups in churches that would volunteer, or that would even volunteer every other Saturday to help our seniors. But we have found that things either get broken, go missing, or there's a frustration on the residents' part when we have, so it has to be something that they ask for and they desire.
I'm just saying in terms of a process.
But
it would be daunting for
you're
me.
definitely working with management.
Yes,
Making
very
sure
closely.
all that they
Yes.
feel very comfortable and nothing.
As best we can. Yes, it is construction, and there will be, you know, drywall dust. You know, we put the curtains up to try to keep it just on one wing where we're working. But it's definitely a lot of hand holding, and we've learned a lot of things not to do. And a lot of it we have found is communication up front. This is what to expect. And also then we set a schedule, but the schedule might change. So if we always leave a longer schedule for the first turn of units, in case anything is going to go wrong, we have a couple of extra days. But then if something were to happen unforeseen, like let's suppose the plumbing pipe burst, and so we had to do, you know, maybe it happened and we had to dig out the concrete on the first unit on the first floor. That's one of the kind of things that would take an extra day and a half or 2 days. And so if that were to happen, then we would sit down with them and say, you were scheduled to move out on Monday, but it's going to be Wednesday now because we've had a delay in this particular unit. So we try really hard to stay ahead of that on the communication side. We do have a relocation specialist. They're the ones that find the accommodations. They're the ones that are in charge of overseeing the communication with the residents. But the management agent is the one who executes their leases with them and that does most of the hand holding with the residents. And we would have an early meeting. Generally, we would have a meeting somewhere in 6 months prior to us beginning construction. And then again, either like a month before we closed on the property, which is usually about 2 months before we start construction. Because once we close, we usually begin construction in 30 days. And we don't usually start with the units. So there may be other items that we would start with first, maybe the community center or maybe the offices, because we have to move the office out of the office to renovate it. And so a lot of times we'll do that first and we'll have the office in the community center and then we can move the staff back into their office once that's renovated. So it's really a pretty well-oiled machine, but it takes a lot of communication and a lot of it depends on the exact scope of work. And we're not quite there yet to know the exact scope.
I have this might be a Kirby question. So, with the 6 million, so we're only asked for 6 million
Mhm.
in non-revenue bonds.
The revenue bonds, yeah. If I may, No, go away. Yes, the difference, 16 million in total cost of renovation, 6 million would be in the revenue bonds, the finance portion. The rest of that 10 million comes from the developer's equity and the equity from the low-income housing tax credits that go into the project. So that's why they are only asking that we finance through the bond issue 6 million.
And the inducement is a saying that will,
The inducement is saying, we want you to come do this. And we're willing to issue our bonds, 6 million in bonds, to entice you to come and do this for our community. They actually have 3 choices. They could come to this authority, they could go to the Clayton County Housing Authority, or technically they could actually go to the Jonesboro Housing Authority, which has countywide jurisdiction because it existed before the Clayton County Housing Authority. I can't speak for why they may have chosen to come other than you've got the most vested interest in it.
yes. In terms of our capacity to issue bonds,
Yes.
how far does that extend? So in other words, if tomorrow, somebody else.
We don't have a limit on our capacity to issue bonds. There is a state limit or allocation on tax exempt bonds that the IRS imposes. And part of this process will be receiving an allocation. The difference in 4% credits and 9% credits, y'all have heard both of those this evening. 9% tax credits, obviously 9% generates more equity in tax credits, but does not require that there be any bond financing in that. 4% tax credits only come if you have bond financing. If you have an entity such as the Development Authority or Housing Authority that has approved issuing revenue bonds for your project, can you be eligible for a 4% tax credit deal? Part of that, as I say, the same entity, Department of Community Affairs, that administers the tax credit side, also administers the bond allocation side.
What's the timeline on this potential project?
Well, the biggest wild card on our timing is the allocation. So once we receive the allocation, and just as the gentleman said before, most developers, if they don't get funded, apply again. And we have an application in now for DCA for the 9%. And now we're preparing because it doesn't look like that we will get funded. So we're prepared now to apply again in September with y'all's blessing and your inducement resolution, but for the 4% credits. Once they review the applications and give the awards, and Shani, do you remember? I can't remember when they give the awards. It's either December or January, as I recall.
It'll be the first quarter.
First quarter. So we typically apply earlier in the year, but they have 3 or 4 months to review the applications and decide who they're going to fund. And then once you're funded, then you finish your drawings, you finish your scope of work. It typically is between 9 and 12 months after you've received the award.
Sissy, do y'all have any idea at this point whether the bonds would be done as a public issue or as a private place?
Typically, we do private placement, which for us is easier and maybe for y'all, but we have not decided. So it's not 100%.
Just explain the difference for the board. In a public issue, actually an underwriter would go out and sell these bonds, $5,000 denominations to, as they always say, little old ladies in tennis shoes, but people who invest in tax exempt bonds. In a private placement, an institutional investor buys the entire bond issue. And on issues this size, that's usually a more cost-effective way of doing that.
I think it's a good idea. It needs to be renovated.
Yes.
If possible.
It's really bad.
Any more questions?
Any more questions for Sissy?
So can I get a motion to approve and sign off on this?
Here is inducement resolution.
All right, all in favor? Aye, thank you, board. And
Thank
our,
you.
Thank you.
our next topic, thank you, ma'am. Commercial property management services.
Take a whole stack, so I can, I promise I'm gonna talk quick. All right, so the commercial property management service, this is real quick. When I was last before you, we are done with the commercial property management services RFP for the Development Authority. Your attorney has blessed it, so now that it has been blessed by your attorney, we will be releasing it in the next coming days. This is to require, again, oversight, including tenant coordination, property maintenance, vendor management, inspections, lease administration, and also financial reporting of your portfolio of properties, which also would cover some of your oversight of your landscaping. We do all of that. But this is taking the Office of Economic Development out of the day-to-day work of property management.
So want us to hire a new person to do what you guys been doing.
The Office of Economic Development's job is not to be property managers. Our job is to oversee your portfolio, to manage your portfolio, to sell and develop your portfolio, but to serve as day-to-day and addressing roof leaks and critters, and I've got a broken fence. We have had property managers before for all of our properties under the board authorities. It has been a minute since we have had a dedicated contract for property management services. We have discussed this before. The board has approved moving forward with property management services. What we're presenting to you is the RFP that we are
Yes.
exactly that has been approved and are moving forward with that property
What do y'all feel? I proceed, I mean, before we had more properties, now we just have the dentist. I think this is good once we have more people, in my opinion, or more properties to manage. Right now, we only, or get rid of who? Or get rid of that building? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know we're.
Yeah, we can put a pause on this if you would like to put a pause.
I don't know
on
what
the
y'all think about it.
Development Authority
I agree
properties.
with what she's saying, but when we actually have things to manage.
I'm saying management for sure. And you guys don't need to be doing that.
But we don't have anything to manage right now, right? Is that what you said? Right, but
It's-
the dentist, and that's just, he bring his payment up to City Hall.
But the building, so we don't have to manage him and his payment, but it's a building. So having,
Building, there's landscaping.
Yeah, it's a lot.
As far as what we understand, the payment, it was worth going out there to see. All they're saying is this is gonna put out to see how much it would be for us to get.
Exactly.
So that's where.
That's where this is. This is not hiring a property manager. This is taking proposals. Kirby?
is this for just the authority, the development authority's properties, or y'all doing it
For,
for each month?
for all three, for all three, for all of the authorities. You would be included with,
So
correct.
Just a point of information, we don't have. to-
Correct.
Doing what they
Yeah.
should have been doing in the first.
Right.
That's,
This would be for all three board authorities.
Okay,
So we will keep you posted.
thank you.
The second two things on here are really just information for you to read at your leisure. One is just a notice of annual inspection of Fort Gillem notice. Not going to read it to you, but it basically, the U.S. Army conducts an annual inspection of the former Fort Gillem properties to ensure, again, that environmental provisions are being followed. There's a copy of that for you. Yes, yes.
for all the properties, including the old.
That does not include, well, no, it actually it
It's
does
there.
include, yes, it does include that. But again, this is, it is, and all of this is related to the URA. The reason that you get notice of this, the DDA also gets notice, is because of various abatements that have been done in the past.
I was curious, just, cause I know about that property. I was curious if that was something they're gonna be looking at too, as far as that, so.
Again, all of the properties as they previously were part of Fort Gillem. They do this annual inspection every year.
No, but I'm just saying, if
Under the quitclaim deed, they have an indefinite period of time they're entitled.
Exactly,
It's a condition that ran with the land when they transferred.
exactly. The other thing on here is a request for notice of commencement and payment bond. It's a notice from Ocado. We get these all the time. Again, just sharing this information as we get them. There is no action. Go ahead, Kirby.
Because we are the owners of that property,
Mhm.
anytime a contractor or subcontractor does work on that
Yep.
property, they send us a notice.
We get a
when they're doing
notice.
work on the property. So that if they don't get paid and they have to place a lien on the property, we've been notified.
We've
that
been
they're-
notified.
Yeah.
So just a copy for your record. So we get them, so I share them with you.
Before
Yes.
before you go to your recommendation.
Yeah.
What I just remembered, there's one thing I.
Yeah, go ahead.
looked
Come on.
up. In the, probably should have brought this on the legal report. At the last meeting, y'all approved accepting the proposal from Shalom Visionary Strategies LLC for the landscaping contract. I have prepared a contract. It's the same contract you've approved in the past. The only thing that changes is who the vendor is and what the contract amount is, and it's what you approved in that acceptance of that proposal. I need a motion to authorize the chairman to sign this landscaping contract so that we can get it back to Shalom and get them working on that.
Yeah, we did it last meeting.
No, you approved accepting the proposal, but you haven't authorized the chairman to sign the contract. So
and they're pick one.
Right.
Just move, we accept
Yeah.
the sign.
And I second it.
okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Okay,
Right.
thank you. Get that.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to update you on in terms of economic development. So we've had a robust meeting, but a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. In your packets is a full economic development report. I am not going to read this to you because there's a whole bunch of information in here for you. We have had a very busy month. As you can see, and I think we have talked about most of this already. Couple of things that I do want to point out to you. We had an absolutely fantastic second annual Forest Park Job Fair on July 13th in partnership with Councilwoman Akins Wells. We had over 30 employers showed up, and we had about 250 attendees. We had a number of people that got hired. There were actually many tears that day, very happy tears, but it was an absolutely fantastic event and a job well done. Thank you to my team. Thank you to the council aides. And again, as I said to everybody, went a long way in supporting workforce development here in the city of Forest Park. Couple of other things in terms of downtown Main Street development in the very back of your packet, there is a full detail of all of the business retention and engagement visits of our Main Street manager for the month of June and July. We had a successful ribbon cutting last Friday of MLK Fish and Chicken. They're located at the Jasper Plaza right there on Main Street. Please go and pay them a visit. New local business here in the city of Forest Park. Always want to make sure that we share love to our new businesses, particularly as they have made stepped up in a big and bold way. We've got several other ribbon cuttings that will be coming up soon. Film
About those.
They are on our website. They are in the newsletter. They're also all over our social media. Are you getting the city newsletter at all?
I got coffee with the cop.
Uh-huh. There was coffee with the cop. Ms. Lois, do you get the city newsletter? Okay, I'm gonna make sure. I need to make sure, we're gonna make sure that you get on the newsletter list. Yes. Thank you. The NASA Lifeline mural, if you've driven past the Grapevine, the old Rite Aid building. Yeah, yes, do you see the mural coming along? It is actively going up right now. We are super excited about the mural and are on track for a September 10th. I don't know where she went. September 10th, I believe, is the date for the, yeah, on the Forest Parkway side. September 10th, public unveiling and grand celebration. So very excited about that. No, no, this is just the unveiling of the mural that's going on the side of the building. Speaking of the Grapevine, construction is on track. They're working on the roof right now, so that's always a really good sign. Windows are in. If you drive past on the Ash Street side and see the front of the building, it looks absolutely beautiful. On track for the construction build out to be done by the end of the year. We will then flip to the FF&E, which is furniture, I can't talk, furniture, fixtures, all the stuff, all the pretty stuff on the inside. We now have swatches. If you ever want to come by our building, Miss Lois likes to pop in. So come on by the office, Miss Lois, and we can show you the pretty swatches for tile and all the stuff that's going to go in the bar in the center of the building. So we will move into the fixtures in the top of the year, with still on target for a spring-ish official opening. And that is the Grapevine. Film Forest Park continues to move on. We actually have a new film that we just scheduled today, actually. There will be another film shoot that is coming to our jail, our decommissioned jail down there at Cash Memorial. Blues on Main is scheduled for October the 9th at the Fountain on Main. We are super excited that this year we actually have an all-female lineup. Please join us. More details about it will be rolling out in the coming days. The collateral is almost done, so you should be seeing the final headliner and sponsorship pack, as well as the flyer for the event, probably by early next week. Our GIC, which is the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing, is full steam ahead. We have a small but mighty community assessment team that we have been working with on our housing assessment for the city of Forest Park. We will be taking the other half of our committee to LaGrange for the spring retreat, or no, I'm sorry, for the fall retreat coming up in November. And again, continuing to work through all of the tenets of GIC, and as we dig deeper around housing and housing for here in the city of Forest Park. And I think that's it. Still working through multiple potential projects. I'm just going to leave it at that. Multiple potential projects that we are kicking the tires on before we bring to the respective boards. There are several that we are developers that we're working with, particularly in terms of housing and mixed-use development, concentrated primarily in our downtown Main Street Central Business District, needing to make sure that it makes sense. And as I tell people all the time, if you can pass me, then you're pretty good. So by the time, if you pass all of my check the boxes, by the time I bring you to the board, you're pretty good. So, and I think that is pretty much all that I have at this time. Are there any specific questions for me?
Any questions?
And we
All right.
do have an executive session.
All right. So can we motion to go into executive session?
The mo- purpose for which we're.
Sorry.
Real estate.
Yes, for real estate, sorry.
All right, so can I get a motion to go into executive session for real estate? All right. Motion and seconded, all in favor? All right, okay. Do we go in? All in favor? Right, we are officially out of executive session.
Move that we reopen.
All right, so all in favor? We are back in our meeting.
That we,
Lease the vacant lot
yeah.
to Family Ministries, Liberty Family Ministries, Inc. for $200 per month.
All in favor? Aye, all right, that passes unanimously. Meeting.
And then if there's no other business, adjourn, but don't get away when you sign this affidavit.
Okay, anything else? All hearts and minds good? All right, anyone second?
Dinner,
Did anybody second? Second, all right, all in favor? Aye, all right, thank you. Meeting adjourned, 7:31.